So we are starting today the second section of the book, which is chapter 16 on page 79. And it's called Perspectives because if you remember going all the way back to the beginning, the idea of the Ramban Nachmanides that Rabbi Goldstein brought was that the mitzvahs teach us two different things. They guide us towards character, meaning imbuing within us different character traits, and also perspectives. And perspectives are really, really important, just as much as character traits are. So therefore, after finishing the first 15 chapters on character, he now moves on to discuss the different perspectives that Shabbos, if you like, Shabbos gives us, Shabbos enables us to see the world in a different light through these perspectives. So let's begin, page 79. Like character, our perspectives shape who we are. We have just explored how Shabbat nurtures within us virtuous character traits. In this part of the book, we explore some of the perspectives on our lives and our world that Shabbos teaches us. So now we're looking almost like beyond ourselves, but the way that we view the world. What is the lens through which we view the world? And then we're going to understand some of the ideas that Shabbos will bring into our life where we'll view the world through that lens. How we view our purpose and role, he continues, in life affects everything we do, feel, and think. How we view our identity as Jews directly impacts how we express it. There are foundational truths that frame our philosophy on life and its meaning. Shabbat teaches us many of these ideas and principles that shape how we see the world. And there's two important things there. Firstly, purpose and role in life, right? If one sees their purpose and role in life as a Jewish person, in order to become the best Jewish person that I can be, and by doing so to improve and uplift the world, then everything is viewed through that lens. So when I have a decision of a school to send to, then I will decide based upon that, because that is my purpose and role in life. When I have a decision about a job to take, then I will make the decision based upon those things. And similarly, how we view our identity as Jews as well. Because if my identity is that I am a Jewish person, that's part of my core identity, then of course we will express that in everything we do. Every single thing that we do will be an expression, will come from that. He continues, these perspectives are embedded deep in our very being. Before our soul is sent down from up on high and placed into a body, we have absolute clarity. We know what is true and what is right. We know our purpose. But then once we arrive here and enter our body, that clarity becomes clouded. We can so easily lose our clear sense of purpose and identity. We need to remember the truths we once knew. Memory in its most profound sense is about rediscovering our essence, remembering who we really are, and why we were sent here. It's a beautiful idea in Judaism. Unlike others that have an idea, a concept of original sin, in Judaism, on the contrary, we have a concept of being originally pure. We have a concept that at our essence, we are the soul, which is purely spiritual. That's where we come from. That is who we are deep inside in our very being. So therefore, that's why, as we've discussed previously, the concept of teshuvah is actually returning to ourself. And as he puts it, memory is discovering who we really are, because inside of us, there's that part which is always has absolute clarity of our purpose and of our mission in this world. Actually, this is one of the reasons the Vilna Gaon explains. There's an idea that we're taught the entire Torah before we're born. It's just something on my mind. You see, perspectives shape what you're thinking about. So we're taught the entire Torah before we're born. And then, as we know, the malach touches us. It's said that maybe that is the over here, the small indentation above one's mouth. The malach touches us, and then we forget the entire Torah. And of course, the question is asked: what's the point of learning all of that Torah inside the womb before we come into this world, if we're then going to forget it again? And the answer, the Vilna Gaon says, is because it means it was once part of us, and we're just rediscovering. Which means for the rest of our life, we're actually coming back to what is really our own anyway. And he says each of us gets our own portion in Torah. My portion isn't the same as yours, and yours isn't the same as the next person's. Each person gets their own portion, their own part of Torah that only they can reveal, and it's about actually rediscovering that rather than actually it being something outside of ourselves. So it's the similar idea to what the chief rabbi is saying over here, that inside of us we have that soul, that neshama, which has complete clarity. But of course, what happens is that can become clouded. We can lose that sense of clarity, of purpose, and of vision, and even of identity. He continues at the bottom of 79, our sages describe our earthly existence as the world of forgetting, the olam of shechicha, forgetfulness. We're surrounded by so many distractions that can lead us to forget the purpose of life. We live in a physical body and in a physical world that can easily distract us with its glittering objects and enticing, though transient, experiences, and with the demands it places on us simply to survive. How do we remember why we were sent here in the first place? How do we remember that we are essentially a soul clothed in a body? How do we realign our perspectives with our true purpose? You know, there's the classic idea that a person, when we come to this world with that vision at the beginning of our lives, we have that clarity of our goal, and then throughout our lives we get so distracted by all of the glittering lights. I've told the story before in shul about when a great sage from Europe, Rabbi Yochanan Wasserman, and he goes to America to collect, and he meets a childhood friend of his called Philip, and Philip is selling clothes, and he comes to Philip's. Philip has a beautiful office in the penthouse in Manhattan at the top of this big factory that he owns. He's an extremely successful businessman, and Rav Elchanan Wasserman is there to collect for the yeshiva, and he comes to see Philip, and Philip says to him, "Hello, my old friend." They remember each other, they embrace, and he says to him, "Tell me," he says, "what can I do for you? You came all the way to America." He says, "What can I do for you?" And Rav Wasserman says, he says, "Philip," he says, "you see this, my button needs fixing. Do you mind helping me? Maybe you have a button here." And Philip looks at him, he says, "You didn't come all the way to America for me to fix a button." He says, "No, really, I heard you're in clothes, and I understand that you have a whole manufacturing business here, and that you would be able to help me with a suit." And he gets all upset, and he says, "This is impossible, it's ridiculous, you didn't come all the way, what do you really want?" etc. He sends him away, he comes back again. I'm cutting it all short, but he comes back, and finally, after much back and forth, he says, Philip looks at him and he says to him, "It makes no sense. It makes no sense that you would come all the way to America, travel all the way from Lithuania across the seas, just in order to fix a button." And Rav Wasserman looks at him and he says, "Philip, you know what, you're right. And it makes no sense that your neshama, the heavenly spiritual part of you, would come all the way from Shamayim, all the way from heaven, down to this world, just to fix buttons." Philip gets the idea, and that's the beginning of his journey back to his Judaism. So classically, we often in our lives, we can lose that sense of perspective. We can lose that understanding of what we were here for in the first place, and people can spend their entire lives, unfortunately, confused, if they even remember to ask the question. Right nowadays, by the way, the way that our society and that our culture deals with it is very simple. It's called the entertainment culture, where entertainment really should be something that we do to take time out in order that we can achieve the goals and purpose in life better. That's the Jewish form and understanding of what entertainment should be. But unfortunately, it can become a way of life, and that can take the place of purpose and meaning in our lives. So he continues, Shabbat is a day of spiritual memory, of reorienting our perspective. Remember the day of Shabbos to make it holy, right? Zachor es yom ha-Shabbos lekadosho. What does remember mean here? What does it mean to remember Shabbos? Nobody ever forgot. Today is the seventh day. Today is Shabbos. He says, clearly it's something more profound than merely the act of mental recall. Shabbos is a day we remember who we are, where we come from, and what our true purpose is. It's the day set aside by Hashem to illuminate our lives with divine perspective, to activate our national memory of our birth at Sinai, where God gave us the Torah on Shabbos itself. On a lesser level, a lesser way, we can do this sometimes when we go on holiday. If a person takes time out, you go away for 2 weeks, then sometimes when you come back, you start doing things differently. Because what happened was, when you managed to sort of stop the daily grind and everything else that you were so busy doing, you actually had time to think about things. And when you put everything back into place in your busy life and your busy schedule, you realize, actually, I could do this better. I could tweak this. I could change this around. So similarly, Shabbos is an opportunity to do that once a week, but an opportunity to do that whilst connecting to Hashem. And that's where we get that divine perspective. We remember who we are. We remember our purpose as a nation once a week. He continues, the soul has absolute clarity. The body introduces murkiness and confusion. It is only at the moment of death, with the separation of the soul from the body, that a person rediscovers complete clarity. When we die, our soul leaves this physical world and we return to God in the world of the souls. And then we see again with complete clarity what the purpose of our lives was meant to be. The moment we leave our bodies behind, we remember all the truths we understood so clearly before we were born. But while we are here, it is so easy to forget. And God forbid, we don't want to be in the position where it takes that and we only remember once it's too late. We want to be in a position where we remember, where we have that clarity during our lifetime, so that we can actually lead our lives according to that purpose, according to that vision, according to what we know is our purpose in this world. He continues, that is why it's a great kindness that God gave us Shabbos, a day for remembering and recalibrating, for reconnecting with the foundational truths of our existence. It gives us a glimpse of the spiritual clarity the soul gains after it leaves this world, which may explain why the sages of the Talmud describe the day as a taste of the world to come. Isn't that a beautiful expression? In Hebrew, it's me'ein olam haba, a taste of the world to come, because obviously the world to come is something which is a very spiritual existence. And how, when we're in this world, are we able to understand what that means? Shabbos is a little bit of a taste of that. And he says, Shabbos is our lifeline to truth, saving us from being lost in a world of distraction. It's the day we transcend the world of forgetting and gain the divine perspectives we need for life. So therefore, Shabbos is a taste of the world to come, because it's a day of remembering. It's a day of being able to connect to that clarity of purpose and a vision, which we know our soul had at the beginning, and we know that our soul will have it at the end of our lives. But Shabbos enables us to taste that clarity once again during our lifetime, and obviously then reconnect, recalibrate for the week ahead. And he ends off on page 81. In the 15 chapters that follow, we explore 15 perspectives that Shabbos gives us, drawing on the teachings and insights of our great sages from across the generations. These perspectives lay the philosophical foundations of who we are, why we exist, and what we are here to do. Right? These are great claims, right? There are a few people in this world who can be able to say, I have complete clarity for who I am, why I exist, and what I'm here to do. Right? But Shabbos gives us those things, and we're going to set out these perspectives. They're not merely abstract intellectual concepts. They are the foundational truths that animate our existence, coloring every moment of life with meaning and purpose. So this is going to be the second stage of our journey together. From now on, the weeks ahead, we're going to be going through these different perspectives so that we'll be able to gain that, as he puts it, that clarity of vision, clarity of purpose, clarity of understanding who we are and where we are headed to, which we'll take with us into the rest of the week.